What's up, Genny boys, and System for a Fiston here. Today I'm bringing you 6 quick tips for beginners in Dead by Daylight. This will apply to anyone interested in picking up the game or someone freshly starting out. If you're a DBD veteran, this doesn't really apply to you, but who knows, you may learn something. We at the Genny boys want everyone to reach their full Slipmaster potential. If you enjoy the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It will help the channel tremendously. Anyway, let's get right into it. Tip number 1. Always be doing something productive. I can't tell you how many times in a solo queue I feel let down by my team. At the end of the day, this is a teamwork-based game, so it is critical that you contribute in every way possible to the team effort of escaping. Whether it's doing Jennies, rescuing someone off the hook, healing each other, or running the killer, be sure to be as productive and efficient as possible. As a survivor, you want to make it out as quickly as possible, as the longer the game drags on, it usually turns into the killer's favor. And for a video clip example, don't be this Dwight here. I mean, look at this fucking guy. Our teammate got hooked, and our other teammate had an active head trap, so it's pretty clear that they needed to get their hat off. So he sees me run off to get the guy on the hook, and he follows me with an already half-torqued Jenny right next to us. I tried to point so the dumbass would get the message, but to no avail. I ended up turning around and doing the Jenny. Point is, stay productive. We don't need a whole damn team to rescue someone. Tip number 2, wasting pallets. Now, a lot of people probably have a different definition of what that means. To me, you can waste a pallet in one of 2 ways. First way is by throwing it down even though you're going to take a hit anyway. If the killer is close enough and goes for the swing, it will still go through the pallet and hit you anyway. It's best to take that hit and the sprint burst and keep on going to the next tile. Way number 2 is by pallet camping. I call these motherfuckers throwers. You get in a chase with them, they get good distance, they make it to a loop, and what do? They fucking sit there and literally wait for the killer to close in all of the distance and then throw the pallet down. Then most of the time the killer will just break the pallet, and by that time the thrower will just rinse and repeat to the next pallet. I mean, sure, at this exact moment they are wasting time, but once they are caught, they have burnt a huge number of resources on the map for everyone else. Instead of doing this, try mixing and looping the pallet as well as mixing in other tiles like with window vaults and other obstacles to prevent this. There are a few pallet exceptions also, like God pallets. An example of that would be the shack pallet or any other pallet that a killer would be forced to break in order to continue the chase. Those personally I like to save until more late game. Sometimes I'll just accept it down instead of using it, but that's just me. Tip number 3, watch where on the map your team is powing Jennies. Usually you spawn on the outskirts of the map right next to a Jenny, and goddamn is that bitch looking seductive, but don't do it. It's important to try to do as many of the center Jennies as early as you possibly can. The reason for this is when there is only 1 Jenny left to be powed, there's actually 3 remaining on the map. Let's say your team goes around and hits all the ones on the outer walls and areas of the map. Take a guess at 3 that are left when you just need 1 measly pow. It's called a 3-gen trap, and the killer's patrol route is now extremely quick and easy, and it's almost impossible to get a W if the killer even halfway knows what they're doing. I see this a lot when I play killer. On a lot of maps when I play killer, I even condition the survivors into doing this. There's a few maps like Sanctum of Wrath and Azeroth's Resting Place that have an absolutely deadly setup for this. Look at these layouts. If you're not careful and just go around powing all willy-nilly, you're gonna end up having a bad time. Tip number 4. Pretty quick one, but also an important one. Every time you're doing an objective like a Jenny or healing somebody, always look around and plan your escape route in case shit hits the fan. Learn these map layouts as it can be an important tool in your survival. Notice here while working on this Jenny, I check out a pallet over by this big ass crane or another loop by these rocks. I'll judge which way I go by which way the killer comes. It's always good to be prepared and not let the killer catch you with your hands in your pants. Tip number 5. This one is kind of similar to always be doing something productive, but I feel as if it needs some extra attention. Do not be afraid of the killer. I see all the time survivors just crouching around and hiding in lockers for no reason. At the end of the day, the killer can only chase 1 person at a time. So if a survivor is running a killer near a Jenny you're working on, do not let up until you are sure he's coming after you. It's important to secure the POW while you can, especially with meta perks like Hex Ruin, Pop Goes the Weasel, and others regressing its progress. It can kill your team because you're wasting time and therefore prolonging the game, which you do not want. Look at this textbook POW. Got chased off, Demogorgon goes after a teammate, I turn right back around for the Jenny and pout right next to the dude. Who is to say if we ran off we could have made it back before it regressed to 50% or even worse? And finally, tip number 6. Find your playstyle. On the surface, Dead by Daylight may seem pretty basic or simplistic to new players, but the game actually has a lot of depth behind the scenes. So what do I mean by this? Well, for me personally, I tend to play a bit more aggressively. I have no problem getting into chases with the killer and running him around. So I'll go after the middle gens, get into a chase, and let my team pow Jennies as long as I don't suck ass and get down in 15 seconds. I'm the kind of guy that'll sabotage the hook right next to the killer carrying a survivor. To simplify it, I'll get in his fucking face if I have to. Now, I'm not saying that, you're fresh into the game and you need to start running the killer for 2 minutes, but if you find that style to be more fun for you, get some practice and time in and make that happen. But this kind of style isn't for everyone. Some people prefer a more stealthy approach to the game, as they want to avoid as many killer interactions as possible. While tip number 5 still applies to everyone, they just prefer to lurk in the shadows when the killer approaches and then get right back into doing gens when they leave. Your style could even be a little mix of both. Just find what works for you and what is the most fun for you. The reason why this is important early is because every survivor has their own set of 3 teachable perks. You're going to be starting the game with no blood points or very few as you just started. So you'll want the most bang for your buck with what you start with. Try to pick a survivor whose perks suit you the best or fits your goals the best. This is not a permanent character choice, because as you level up your first survivor, you will notice once you reach level 30, your teachable perk will reappear in the blood web. That means once you unlock it there, that perk will begin to appear in every other survivor's blood web. They give you each teachable perk in 5 level increments. One at 30, 35, and then 40. So from there, as you level up more of the cast, you can build a bear your perks. Perk builds could honestly be a whole nother video, but I'll give you a few quick examples. If you prefer a more stealthy or gen repairing playstyle, you could run Leader, Prove Thyself, Urban Evasion, and Sprint Burst for quick getaways if you are spotted. For more aggressive styles, you could run Dead Hard, Self-Care, Borrow Time, and Decisive Strike. The possibilities are endless. You just have to experiment your styles and builds to see what works best for you. Also, another quick tip, I recommend to not prestige any character until you get the teachable perks you want. It's a waste of blood points in the early game. If you're new to Dead by Daylight, try to apply these into your games today so you can develop into the slip master you know you are. And that's all the tips I have for today. Thanks for watching, Jenny Boys. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, as it will tremendously help our growth here on YouTube. Also leave a comment if you want to see more videos in this informational kind of style, or if you have any questions. I also have a full review of the Silent Hill chapter and Pyramid Head for you guys coming soon, more Survivor and Killer videos, and other game projects as well, so hit the bell to get notifications when I upload. Thanks again for watching. Jenny Boy out.